What's up guys, Max here, and in a shocking turn of events, AKUMA is a guest character in Tekken 7. You saw my initial reaction and what the character looks like, but what's even crazier is that this has been the year of guest character surprises and stuff that we did not see coming between Cloud and Smash Brothers, and I'd say AKUMA and Tekken is a couple of the biggest ones. Now, this doesn't come as an inherent amazing surprise because we already know that Harada has said before that after Tekken 7, their next big priority is Tekken versus Street Fighter or Tekken Cross Street Fighter, which is based on the previous relationship that Harada, the guy that's pretty much responsible for Tekken, and Ono, the lead dude for Street Fighter, had with the crossover series with Street Fighter Cross Tekken. A lot of people seem to forget this when they're talking about, is there going to be a Tekken character in Street Fighter V? I'm pretty sure there's like a 99% chance that's not going to happen, guys, because Capcom already got their Tekken fighting game, the crossover game where Tekken characters are introduced to Street Fighter characters. That game was Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and it kind of blows my mind that a lot of people just forget that that game even exists. The interesting thing about this is that Street Fighter Cross Tekken did a lot of harm, more so than most games, to Capcom as a company because it was the start of some really weird DLC practices, and the game just had a lot of issues at the start. And a lot of people still don't like it, and you can kind of see why, but all that bad stigma that came associated with Street Fighter Cross Tekken still was residual for quite a long time, and even when that was happening and I was talking about it way back in the day and we were making videos for Street Fighter Cross Tekken, knowing that in the future, Tekken Cross Street Fighter, the Namco version of, the crossover series, is gonna have to eventually happen, man, I'm like, there's no way they're gonna release that game anytime soon. This game caused so much, bad stigma associated with, Capcom and potentially Tekken characters that they're gonna stay away from this for a very long time, and pretty much waiting about 4 years was the perfect amount of time. Because now AKUMA is in Tekken 7, and it's pretty much the baseline for what the future could be as far as Fireball and Street Fighter related characters in the Tekken universe. So let's quickly talk about it. AKUMA in this game resembles so much traditional AKUMA that it's ridiculous. You see what appears to be dive kicks, demon flips, Tatsumakis, fireballs, uppercuts, the whole variety including a Raging Demon Super. There's also some things that resemble his classic Third Strike special, which is down, down, down triple punches where he smacks the ground and causes a shockwave, but this is also very similar to his winning animation in Street Fighter 4, so I don't think that's going to be a move, but it would be great if it was. But the other things we see are EX moves, which are kind of charged moves from the previous Street Fighter games where you use your meter. I don't know if Akuma is going to be able to specifically use his meter to get EX-style moves in Tekken 7, because Tekken takes advantage, very much takes advantage of this thing called Just Frame moves. You see this with an electric attacks from the Mishima style. This is where you're able to execute your special move, the direction motion, and the timing you actually have on the button press after is what determines what kind of a special move it's going to be, whether or not it's faster, is more damaging, has more priority, and this is most likely what it is. It's going to be just frame versions of Akuma's traditional specials that'll amplify them in some way. This would make complete sense because it is the Tekken engine, but the most interesting thing is that this engine specifically is designed for Tekken 7 to implement new characters, most likely as a testing ground for future games like Tekken Cross Street Fighter. I do really believe that this character is like a demo for what they can do with the future games, but all things considered, based on the way he looks like he fits in Tekken so much. He makes perfect sense. A lot of people are comparing him to the lore of the story, because you have a really critical character in Tekken 7 summoning Akuma to essentially assassinate Heihachi as well as Kazuya. So whether or not he's actually in the lore or he's a guest character and they've snuggled him in as a guest character a little bit more than most guest characters, I don't find that really that interesting. All it is kind of setting up for the fact that there is going to be a crossover in the future with Tekken Cross Street Fighter. They haven't actually confirmed this as a result of this trailer, but I am very confident that there's going to be a full game where we have the Tekken roster or the most popular Tekken characters fighting Street Fighter characters, and I will say, visually, it's absolutely amazing. Like, I can't even believe when you look at the 1080p trailer of this stuff that it looks that damn good. AKUMA's model is better than any version of AKUMA I've probably ever seen, and the way he moves is absolutely awesome. You see a lot of traditional stuff like his forward roundhouse or his standing roundhouse, but he's going to be very unique in this game. All things considered, you can sidestep fireballs, and that was the big question, is like, oh man, how much are fireballs going to dominate a 3D space fighter? If you can sidestep them, that's really not that bad at all. It just makes them a unique spacing and poking tool, because other characters have already had stuff like that in the Tekkenverse for quite some time. Either way, and as I've mentioned before, I haven't been huge into Tekken for quite a long time. Tekken 5 was the last time I put a bunch of time into one of the Tekken series games, and this is a character that does it. And the funny thing is that the whole point of guest characters is to get people to try out a game with that character so that they can hopefully get associated and maybe like other aspects of the game. AKUMA is doing exactly that, not only for myself, but I feel for a lot of players that are not traditionally associated with Tekken games at all. There's a bridge. It bridges the gap for you to jump in and try Tekken, and it's not exactly a bad thing, because a lot of the Tekken roster is very similar to previous Tekken roster characters, and not a lot of people were fans of the inclusion of Tekken 6 characters, like that style of characters that they eventually added to the game. So it does make a lot of sense why they're doing this, why he looks as good as he does, because it's kind of important and it kind of shapes the future of what's going to be happening for Tekken down the line. I'm really happy that Namco and Capcom are still friends with each other, and this is still a possibility, and this is one of those perfect stepping stones of some amazing shit that could happen down the line. Either way, guys, thank you a ton for watching, thank you for hanging out. I'm pretty sure this is the version we're going to be seeing on consoles, and we're still waiting for that official console release date of Tekken 7. I'll be back with more updates of AKUMA as soon as possible, if there is some. My name is Max, thank you dudes very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.